In the ancient world, before the Great Flood, a rebellion of a different kind took place. It was not a rebellion of men against God, but of divine beings. These beings, known as the Watchers, were part of a celestial host. Their duty was to observe humanity, to watch over the earth and report back. They were not to interfere with the natural order of things. Their role was one of silent, unseen guardianship, a cosmic surveillance of God's creation. But temptation found its way into their ranks. As they watched the daughters of men, they began to lust after them, desiring their beauty. This desire led to a transgression, a breaking of their divine mandate. They descended to earth, abandoning their heavenly posts to fulfill their earthly desires. The book of Genesis mentions this event briefly in a cryptic and powerful passage. The sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair. This simple phrase holds a world of meaning. It points to a profound and tragic fall from grace, a celestial scandal that shook the foundations of creation. The Watchers took human wives and had children with them. This union was an abomination, a forbidden mixture of divine and human natures. The offspring of these unions were the Nephilim, a name that means the fallen ones. They were giants, powerful beings of a terrifying and unnatural nature. The Nephilim were not just physically large, they were also violent and destructive. Their presence on earth brought chaos and corruption to the human world. Their rebellion was a direct act of defiance against God's order. They had overstepped their bounds, corrupted their purpose, and introduced a new kind of evil. This was the unseen rebellion, a spiritual war unfolding in the shadows. It was a sin that went beyond human transgression, a celestial mutiny. The book of Enoch, a non-canonical but influential text, provides a much more detailed account of this event. It names the leaders of the rebellion. According to Enoch, the chief watcher was named Simiaza. He was the one who proposed the pact, binding his fellow watchers with an oath. They swore to descend together, to take human wives and teach forbidden knowledge. This was a conspiracy of the highest order, a rebellion planned in the heavens. The Watchers taught humanity things they were not meant to know. They shared secrets of metalworking, of sorcery, and of cosmetics. While some of these things may seem harmless, they led to great sin and corruption. The knowledge was used for violence, for war, and for seduction. Humanity, already prone to sin, was further corrupted by these divine teachers. The world became a place of violence, injustice, and wickedness. God saw the great wickedness of man on the earth. He saw that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The sin of the Watchers was not just their descent. It was their corruption of humanity, their introduction of forbidden knowledge and violence. Their rebellion was a direct cause of the Great Flood. God's decision to cleanse the earth was a response to the profound evil that had taken root. The Watchers were judged for their transgression. They were bound in the depths of the earth, in a place of eternal darkness, until the day of judgment. This punishment is mentioned in the New Testament. The Apostle Peter speaks of angels who sinned and were cast down to Tartarus. Jude also refers to these angels, mentioning that they did not keep their proper domain. They are kept in chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. The story of the Watchers is a powerful reminder of the unseen spiritual realities that exist. It shows that sin is not limited to the human sphere. It highlights the profound consequences of disobedience, not just for humanity, but for the divine beings who serve God. The rebellion of the Watchers was a cosmic event, an unseen rebellion that had a direct and devastating impact on the human world. It serves as a cautionary tale, a story about the dangers of lust, pride, and the abuse of power, even for those in a divine state. This unseen rebellion helps us understand the pervasive nature of evil. It shows that the forces of darkness are not just human. The sin of the Watchers is a key part of the biblical narrative, a hidden piece of the puzzle that explains the state of the world before the flood. They were given a position of trust, a sacred duty to watch over humanity. Instead, they betrayed that trust for their own selfish desires. Their actions were a direct challenge to God's authority. They sought to create a world after their own image, a world of hybrid beings. The Nephilim were a physical manifestation of this spiritual corruption. They were a sign of the unnatural mixing of divine and human. The Watchers' sin was a perversion of their original purpose. They were supposed to guard, but they chose to corrupt. This rebellion introduced a new level of evil into the world. It was a profound spiritual defilement that affected all of creation. The story challenges our simple understanding of good and evil. It shows that evil can come from unexpected places, even from the heavens. It adds a layer of complexity to the biblical narrative. It shows that the Great Flood was not just about human wickedness, but also about a cosmic rebellion. The Watchers' sin was a monumental act of disobedience. It was a rebellion that had cosmic repercussions, affecting both heaven and earth. This unseen war in the spiritual realms had a very real impact on humanity. It led to violence, corruption, and the destruction of the world. The story of the Watchers is a testament to the power of choice. Even divine beings, with all their knowledge, can choose to sin. It shows the danger of desire when left unchecked. The Watchers' lust for human women led to their downfall and the corruption of the world. This rebellion was a profound act of spiritual arrogance. They thought they could defy God's will and create their own reality. The sin of the Watchers is a reminder that there are spiritual forces at play. We are not just dealing with human evil, but with supernatural wickedness. The Nephilim were a physical sign of this supernatural evil. They were the children of a forbidden union, a testament to the Watchers' sin. The Watchers' rebellion was a cosmic tragedy. It was a fall from grace for a group of divine beings, and it brought great suffering to humanity. This unseen rebellion provides a deeper context for the story of the flood. It shows that God's judgment was a response to a profound crisis. The punishment of the Watchers is a clear example of divine justice. They were not just cast out, but bound in eternal darkness. This is a powerful image of their eternal condemnation. They are forever separated from God, in a place of torment and chains. The story of the Watchers reminds us of the importance of obedience. Even the most powerful beings must submit to God's will. Their rebellion was a failure of duty. They were given a sacred trust, and they chose to abuse it for their own gain. The Watchers' sin was a profound act of betrayal. They betrayed God, their fellow angels, and the human race they were meant to protect. This unseen rebellion sheds light on the nature of evil. It shows that evil is not just a human phenomenon, but a cosmic one. The Nephilim were a living testament to this evil. They were a monstrous hybrid, a physical representation of spiritual corruption. The Watchers' fall was a tragic event. They were beings of light and power who chose a path of darkness and rebellion. Their sin was a choice, a deliberate act of defiance. They were not tempted by an outside force. The desire came from within. This is a sobering thought. It shows that sin is a matter of the heart, a choice to turn away from God's will. The rebellion of the Watchers is a key theme in biblical theology. It helps explain the origin of evil and the pervasiveness of sin. The story is a reminder of the constant spiritual battle that is taking place. We are in a war against unseen forces of wickedness. The sin of the Watchers highlights the importance of spiritual discernment. We must be aware of the unseen dangers that exist. The punishment of the Watchers shows God's commitment to justice. He will not tolerate rebellion, whether it is from man or from angel. This story adds depth to the biblical narrative. It shows that there is a cosmic drama unfolding behind the scenes. The unseen rebellion was a moment of profound crisis. It was a time when the order of creation was threatened by celestial beings. The Watchers' sin was a direct cause of the Great Flood. It was God's response to a world that had become utterly corrupted. The story of the Watchers is a powerful testament to the sovereignty of God. No rebellion, no matter how great, can ultimately succeed. Their rebellion was an act of profound arrogance. They thought they could escape God's judgment and create their own kingdom. The Nephilim were a tragic result of this arrogance. They were a doomed race, a product of a forbidden and unnatural union. The sin of the Watchers serves as a warning. It shows the danger of seeking power and knowledge outside of God's will. This unseen rebellion is a key part of the biblical worldview. It shows that the battle between good and evil is a cosmic one. The story of the Watchers is a reminder that we are not alone in the universe. There are other spiritual beings, both good and evil. Their fall was a tragic descent from glory. They were once holy beings, but they chose a path of sin and rebellion. This unseen rebellion helps us understand the brokenness of the world. It shows that the corruption of sin is deeply rooted. The punishment of the Watchers is a clear and powerful image of eternal judgment. It is a terrifying prospect for those who rebel against God. The story of the Watchers is a testament to the power of free will. Even divine beings have the ability to choose to sin. Their rebellion was a deliberate act, a conscious choice to defy God. They were not deceived. They chose to rebel. This is a sobering thought. It shows that sin is not just a matter of ignorance, but a deliberate choice to go against God. The unseen rebellion is a key part of the spiritual history of the world. It helps explain the forces of darkness that are at work. The Watchers' sin was a spiritual crime of the highest order. They were given a sacred trust, and they chose to abuse it. The story of the Watchers is a powerful reminder that God is a God of justice. He will not let sin go unpunished. The Nephilim were a symbol of the spiritual corruption that had taken place. They were a monstrous sign of the Watchers' sin. This unseen rebellion adds a layer of depth to the biblical narrative. It shows that the story of the Bible is a cosmic drama. The Watchers' rebellion was an act of profound hubris. They thought they could become gods themselves and create their own world. The punishment of the Watchers shows the futility of rebelling against God. No one can ultimately escape his judgment. The story of the Watchers is a powerful testament to the consequences of sin. It shows that sin has cosmic and eternal repercussions. This unseen rebellion is a key part of the history of evil. It shows that the forces of darkness have been at work for a long time. The sin of the Watchers was a tragic event, a fall from grace for a group of divine beings. It brought great sorrow to God. This rebellion was a spiritual catastrophe. It corrupted humanity and introduced a new kind of evil into the world. The Watchers' sin serves as a warning. It shows that even the most powerful and knowledgeable beings can fall into sin. The story of the Watchers is a reminder of the spiritual warfare that is constantly taking place. We are in a battle against unseen forces. Their rebellion was a direct cause of the Great Flood. It was God's response to a world that had become utterly defiled. The punishment of the Watchers is a clear example of divine justice. They are bound in darkness until the day of judgment. This is a powerful image of their eternal condemnation. They are forever separated from God in a place of chains and torment. The story of the Watchers is a testament to the power of choice. Even divine beings, with all their knowledge, can choose to sin. Their rebellion was a deliberate act of defiance against God. They chose to abandon their sacred duty for their own selfish desires. The unseen rebellion is a key part of the biblical narrative. It helps us understand the depth of human corruption before the flood. The Watchers' sin was a profound act of betrayal. They betrayed God, their fellow angels, and the human race. This rebellion adds a layer of complexity to the biblical story. It shows that there is more to the story of sin than just human transgression. The Nephilim were a tragic consequence of this rebellion. They were a doomed race, a physical manifestation of a spiritual crime. The story of the Watchers is a powerful reminder that there is a spiritual world. We are not just dealing with human evil. The sin of the Watchers is a key part of the unseen rebellion, a celestial mutiny that had a direct and devastating impact on the world. It serves as a cautionary tale, a story about the dangers of pride, lust, and the abuse of power for both man and angel.